this is Samina Sheikh here, and with me today I have the star cast of doctors. So join me as I welcome all of them only on Zoom channel. It is a lot to take the names, like all the names. So rather like welcome the doctors. How the actors have turned doctors. It's synonymous to the names in a way. Actors and turning doctors. Starting with you.
The journey has been a lot of fun. It's been a great learning to understand different kinds of professionals, their lives, what they go through on an everyday basis, how they put themselves and their lives on the back burner. And I think we had a lot of fun prepping for to be a doctor, how to wear gloves, how to wear scrubs, how to wash your hands, how to enter the OT. It's been a joyous ride, and especially with such amazing, fun people. I think it was just the best kind of set that we were on, and I think it was a blast.
Going to you, Aamir.
Yeah, as an actor, you have to do many roles, many different kind of roles, and all are difficult ones. And so was this. I have friends who are doctors, very close friends, and I know how they are. They're lifesavers, but they have their own lives. They have their own struggle, they have their own fun, they have a lot of things. I think this show shows all those things about, from the operation theatre, from saving people to mistakes a human can make, to falling in love, to emotions, to so many things. So more than me, I think I'll talk about the show, what the show is all about, and it's about all these things put together.
For me, this show is not just about wearing an apron and becoming a doctor. It was a full process of living a life of a doctor every day, and going to a real hospital to shoot on the real OT, or maybe a ICU, a real ICU where everything is real, nothing is being created. And we have to learn everything from scratch, because as actors we don't know about this profession, but from handling a stethoscope to checking BPs, or maybe
Pulse.
Suturing, or maybe surgeries, everything was very minutely taught to us. And obviously we had Dr. Agni with us, who and Janvi, Dr. Janvi, who were throughout the show. They were there from the training, from the pre-production to the whole shooting happened, and in fact they were there for the editing also, because they wanted to check everything minutely, that everything is correct or not, because sometimes we miss out on few things, or they can correct in editing also. But I think I would say it's a perfect Indian show on doctors. Nobody has made such precise show on doctors and their lives, just not the professional life, but the personal life of doctors. I think so. It's a complete show on doctors.
Yeah, Viraf.
मैं तो बहुत परेशान हो गया. It was a harrowing experience to be on set with this nerd called Harleen, because she was only making notes and coming with more notes, and she would, by the end of it, she had an encyclopedia of notes.
थोड़ा और कर लेते डॉक्टर बनी जाती है.
We had this actors WhatsApp group, so she's sharing names of books, in the group. कि मैंने ये book पढ़ी है, ये page पे देखो, ये लिखा है doctors के बारे में.
I did that, na?
And then you have to deal with this epitome of testosterone called Sharad Kelkar.
Epitome of testosterone.
Who's trying to be a neurosurgeon in the show. It had its own struggle. And then Vivaan doesn't stop talking, and somewhere between his conversations we have to try and do a scene. And then Aamir Ali comes on this set with this swag, bro, what are we doing?
What are we doing today?
How can you do this journey to a doctor? सारा जो ये जानवी and Dr. Janvi and Agni ने मेहनत किया था, सब निकल जाता था. But somehow we managed. I think Siddharth, thanks to Sahir, our director,
who handled us
well,
very well,
like a pro.
Tough guy.
Yeah.
Sometimes tough, sometimes very, very begging method. Please do it for me.
बहुत मेहनत करा है उसने.
And then
whenever I used to go back,
we were quite a time, we were quite reluctant कि हो तो गया अभी क्या करना है, और
वो इतने takes लेता है, इतना. He was so involved in the shoot. मुझे याद है ये शो में मैं रोज जाकर गर्म पानी में पैर डाला हूँ, because मेरे खड़े खड़े पैर दुख जाते थे. But he was, but जब वो मैं थोड़े scenes देखे editing में, कितना
That was the painful part.
कितना
I
पेशेंट
did
नहीं ये
surgery.
पैर बोल रहा है actually उसके बम में बैठा ही हुआ था
वो भी दुखता था ना
वही बोल रहा हूँ
मैं बोलना नहीं था यहाँ तक बस ठीक
That was the torturous part. Like, can you imagine Aamir Ali on a bed with his legs together? Like,
But I actually realized
That's
we
the
got
first
very
time
few
in India
It's a torture for him.
Indian
lunch
media.
breaks. No, we always had running breaks.
Yeah, नहीं, I mean, I have made it sure that whenever I'm on the set, we'll
Lunch
have
break.
good food.
हाँ, good food is here. Sorry, हम अलग track पे निकल गए. Yeah,
It's a good time to include Sana in the conversation.
Yeah, हम
And
अपनी
pass the
बातों में
baton
लग
on.
गए.
Sana, नाम ही change कर
नाम
दिया
ही change
doctor ने.
Samina.
Samina Sheikh.
That was interesting. But what about you, Vivaan?
हाँ
Absolutely,
ये
yeah.
बोलेगा
ये बोलेगा.
अब ये
Sahil Bhai is such a thorough filmmaker, as they were saying. He's really the consummate filmmaker, the director, and the insight also is grasp on technique, on the filmic language. You know, the way his style of shooting, and also in the edit, you will see is very innovative filmmaking, and the whole cast, everybody, you know, from Sara Hashmi to Foize Jalali, Lyra Dutt, and so many Abhishek Khan, Vansh, and so many others. It was such a wonderful team. Max. It was such a lovely bunch of people, and I think I learned a lot from everybody, and also learned a lot while during the process of training. Of course, that is paramount. I think what our training process was the most integral part of it, because that is when we really learned not only the terminology but also the body language, the activities, and so that it would seem completely as if it was an extension of us as an individual. The way you wear the stethoscope, it's almost like an extension of your body.
Yeah.
It's the same way a police officer would wear their holster, in a sense. You know, it becomes a part of your entire body language. So these various things, I had a great time as an actor inhabiting the role of a doctor, and also trying to honor that and to be true to it.
मुझे यही बोलना था
He's answered aptly. Like,
Actually, we
we've
should
all
start
gone
from always from here.
Quickly, you know.
Then we'll add one more
We've
line.
all gone off track.
We should start from this guy.
This guy, right? And
He's our
मुझे
official
ये बोलना
spokesperson. You can start with him, and
So
then we'll
you
add
have
one more.
earned Samina's next question.
Samina,
The next
oh,
question to everyone is basically, now you may be like when you're approaching a doctor, how the conversations have been like, नहीं मुझे पता है आप लोग मुझे ऐसे नहीं बोल सकते हो, ऐसा कभी कुछ किया है try?
नहीं वो
इसके
हमें
बाद
पूछते हैं कि हाउ आर यू से पहले हम उनको पूछते हैं आजकल कि हाउ आर यू
How are you? इतना
आप
पढ़ाई
बताओ
करती है।
पहले
आप ठीक हो ना? मेरा
आप
इलाज
ठीक हो
करने से
ना?
पहले आप बता दो आप ठीक हो ना?
आपकी
आप ठीक
पर्सनल
हो
लाइफ
भैया?
सही चल रही
सही चल रही
है
है।
लव
मुझे
लाइफ
लग रहा
सही
है
अभी
चल
क्या
रही
होता है
है
ऐसे फर्स्ट आप कोई जाते हो आपकी कुछ बॉडी एक है तो आप बोलो सर मुझे यहाँ कहीं दुख रहा है सर बोलते हैं यहाँ कहीं दुख रहा है नाउ वील टर्मिनोलॉजी कि मुझे वो सराइटस इंटीरियर के नीचे जो कैविटी है ना वहाँ पर कुछ तो भी पेन हो रहा है ये पढ़ के आएगा
कैसे पता?
एक्सप्लेन मैंने वो मेरे रेडियस चलना के बीच में जो ऐसा एक वो टेंडन है ना वो
ओह माय गॉड ये ब्रेक में कितने
So
वर्ड्स पढ़े इसने
ये बहुत वो है टिपिकल मतलब ऐसा वो वैसा हो गया थोड़ा सा कि
है ना, थोड़ा
हमको
सा
बीमारी
तो
पहले
होगा।
पता होती है डॉक्टर से पहले
But that's thanks to internet, right? Everyone
Actually,
sort of
yeah,
looks
everyone
up
is
their
so-
own self
it's like-
before
But
going to the doctor.
you know, in India also, you know, even when the lockdown, you know, came into picture, तभी सब लोग डॉक्टर्स ही बन गए थे. You know, everyone was trying to
Yes.
beat each other. You know, be it mentally, be it physically, and all. आपने तभी कुछ ऐसे lessons लिए थे, यानी something you experimented and you felt like, चलो, you know, let me. do
काढ़े
this.
बहुत पिए हम लोगों ने यार मतलब
अच्छा.
काढ़े पी रहे थे डिफरेंट टाइप के कुछ बना
और स्टीम ले रहे थे
स्टीम रहे काढ़े पी रहे हैं स्टीम ले रहे हैं ये चल रहा है हल्दी वाला दूध और पता नहीं क्या क्या बहुत चल रहा था उस टाइम पे मतलब बहुत कुछ
Yeah.
उस वक्त सब डॉक्टर हो गए थे
है ना, सब डॉक्टर बन
मुझसे
चुके
पूछो
थे.
क्या दवाई लेना है
क्या?
विटामिन लेना है ये करना है वो करना है विटामिन सी है वो सब हम सब
Immune
डॉक्टर थे
boosters ले लो and all that, you know. Yeah, basically.
आंवले का जूस पी लो विटामिन सी लेना चाहिए इसमें ये हो जाएगा
Natural.
वो हाँ नेचुरल पे जाओ बहुत
I have a dark story because of which I started taking doctors very seriously. I had a girlfriend back in time, and I was obviously not. I'm married now, but this is way long back. And she was going through a health condition because of which she needed some injection every second day or third day or something like that, or every day or something. And we couldn't go to the doctor for getting one of the injections, and I said, okay, I'll give you the injection. And I thought that because I was in the merchant navy and I've done some medical first aid course, I know how to give an injection. And I gave her the injection,
एंड ब्रेकअप हो गया
and I moved the needle in such a way which was not very responsible while giving the injection, and I know I caused her a lot of pain. And I realized, oh God, and I remember seeing the pain in her eyes and her cry. And after that, I realized that, oh, what these guys
ये
do.
शौक ना और गालियां नहीं बोल रहे
No, I mean, she was graceful enough to just cry out in pain, and she knew that I was trying to help, etc. But I felt that guilt for it's been about 15 years now that I still feel that guilt that I shouldn't have done that without proper training and value the medical profession.
Will you try now?
I might try. No, I won't. Now I won't. But yes, I tried to experiment. I fell flat on my face, and that's when I realized that there's a real skill out there which you have to surrender to and trust and not mess with.
It's a responsibility.
Yeah, it's a big responsibility.
It's a very big responsibility, and when you spoke about COVID, I think like really we need to thank all the doctors out there who stepped up, and for
Yeah,
hours they didn't
24/7
go
they were on
home.
their toes,
24/7 they were on their toes in the hospitals and looking at, unfortunately, some of the conditions of our Indian hospitals. I think really salute to them. They really were the superheroes around that time.
I remember there's a picture of all the superheroes
Going
bending
down
down,
to,
and doctor walking from the center.
No,
Remember
still,
that?
I have still a picture on my Instagram where me and my daughter have posted a picture. Thank you, real heroes.
And you were doing like live interactions that time.
yeah,
I
correct.
remember like the entire scenario had changed. But Sharad, if I go by the trailer and I saw your role also, it's way too serious also, when you're getting into the character, which also means a lot of responsibility has been added on this particular person, the entire way it has been shot. What do you have to say on that?
Obviously, not just this character, any character for an
Yeah.
actor, it's a responsibility that you should do first your 100% and then people should accept that. So you have to convince yourself in the first go that, from today on this set, I am this character, I am not Sharad Kelkar, I am this character, and I have to play with my full honesty, and then it comes automatically if you're honest towards yourself and your craft. I think it goes with the flow. And the moment you try to put extra effort, it shows on. The camera never, leaves you.
Catches everything.
It catches everything. So, and the format particularly, what format we are working in now, in today's time, I think you have to be very true to your craft and to be very honest as an actor. So once you inculcate that feeling inside you that from today I'm this, so I think things becomes very easier for you to translate into a scene or a particular film or something which you are doing. So my approach is always like that. So I first convince myself that okay, you are this. Then maybe I think result I don't know, but I try that.
Then he convinces the co-actor, okay, I'm this.
On set, after cut, I'm Sharad Kelkar. So when that particular scene, when the action comes, when I'm that character, otherwise I'm the tough guy for everyone. I think I give a tough time to everyone.
To all of you as actors, we have spoken about doctors and we have seen their journeys, but as actors, what is that one thing which is very tough to convince you, while performing the characters you're playing basically?
One thing that's
The toughest
Please,
convince.
please,
Tough to
please,
convince.
sir.
For the encyclopedic answer, we'll give
We
it.
have Vivaan Shah. Vivaan Shah.
बाप रे, पता नहीं. सोचना पड़ेगा. Nothing really tough to convince. I think that's as is part of the actor's job to sort of be game for all kinds of things, and so one has to. There's no real convincing as such, but one has to really train oneself and convince oneself that one is the character, as Sharad sir was saying, that you have to really use the imagination to completely inhabit the role and to remove the self, to not have the self exist and to just totally transform yourself into a different profession, because this is a very unique role in that sense that you're not just playing a different character, we're playing someone from a different walk of life, and so that responsibility then becomes tenfold.
Yeah. Vivaan, what you have taken, in terms of inspiration from your father, for the roles you have played?
So one of the main things that he teaches in his workshop, in his acting workshop, is the imagination exercise, and that one of the things that does is that it builds a relationship with objects. So the relationship that you have with the scalpel, the relationship that you have with the stethoscope, the relationship that you have with in my character's specialty is suturing. So all these things, I think the intricacies of activity, what in acting terminology we call business. कि कोई business है करने को, glass पकड़ रहा है कोई actor, we call that business. So how to integrate that with the dialogue delivery and with the body language and make it seamless and truthful.
Viraf, coming to you, what is that one tough thing as an actor which you really work on and you feel to convince yourself as an actor?
I think when between action and cut, we all try to clutch on to a feeling which a lot of actors try to call the truth. Or some actors like to call it magic, or some actors like to call it the fire. And I think we're all just trying to clutch into that moment where we are trying to be that character. For this show, it was a doctor. I could be a bisexual person with different behavioral abilities. But I think we're just trying to be that someone else and find our truth in there. It's kind of strange, paradoxical, and almost schizophrenic. I say that with a lot of caution, that in the head, the chatter in an actor's head can become very schizophrenic.
But that's something even Shah Rukh Khan has convinced, confessed on one of his, Twitter chat, that an actor's life is like that, of a schizophrenic patient, because, we don't know what multiple things we're dealing with, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and so we are very vulnerable, and I think what I am learning to do now in my craft is learn to be as vulnerable as I can be, because once you've done it for a while, your head says, "Arey, I've done this, yaar, you've done this 10 times now, you're doing it." So, but try and remain supple and vulnerable while you're trying to do it is what I am trying to do for myself. I don't know what my other esteemed co-actors like. I watched Sharad's work very closely when we were working together, because Sharad has been there, done that in television. He's done film, and I mean, he's a cartoon himself. But when I was working with him, I was trying to see, I actually like to dig into each one's school of acting. Harleen has a very different way of going into her character. She's very methodical, and she likes to breathe, works with her breath, and you can see she's breathing the part, and then she takes her time to come out of it also. Like, you can't go and talk to Harleen right after the take. Like, she takes about 3, 4, 5 minutes to gently
15
glide
also.
out. 15?
Half an hour also.
Years or minutes?
Minutes, half an hour also.
Because it's a emotional
Maybe one day
demanding role.
also you can.
Sharad can
Emotionally
switch.
demanding role.
Sharad just gave you an intense take, and then break into a giggle.
Yeah.
So I think there's also an array of different schools of acting and abilities, which is fun to watch. Vivaan has a very different way of being, and he's extremely sincere, and he brings another level of technique to his work, which is very different from his mother. Also, because I've worked with Ratna ma'am
Kutch Express.
on Kutch. We did this lovely movie, and he takes from both, and he does his own thing. So I'm actually very charmed by the fact that he's formed his own thing. He finds his in.
Yeah.
And Aamir to is the king of swag, so we just try to learn that.
की बात करें.
To Sharad and Aamir, what is the difficult part for you all?
In this show particularly, the terminologies of medical science, I think that was the most difficult part for me. It was a nightmare whenever those scenes came, and I was like, God, आज अच्छा presentation निकल जाना मेरे मुंह से कुछ और ना निकले. But it was tough. It is tough, It's as difficult as doctor's handwriting, I think.
Oh, I was just going to say that if any of us would have become true method, then you'd have mastered the art of writing.
Right.
Handwriting.
And one day I was signing something.
Worst handwriting.
I was signing something, and I said, I can't sign clean. I can't write Ishan Ahuja.
Yeah.
मैं कुछ उल्टा चीज लिखना पड़ेगा मुझे, तब वो लोगों को पता नहीं चला क्या लिखा है. साइन किया प्रिस्क्रिप्शन में, क्या मेडिसिन का नाम लिखा है कि साइन किया. So वैसा है.
Lastly, to you, Aamir.
Yeah, see, for me, the most difficult part
To sit.
is to accept something. I can't, before accepting a role, I'm a pakao.
Acha.
I pakao myself, I pakao the makers, I'm not sure most of the times karna hai ki nahi karna hai. But that's the most difficult part for me to do any work that I do. But once I come on board, that time I surrender. Then I don't pakao. Then I'm there. Then I'm there in the show. Yeah, the terminologies, the diction, the words were difficult because thanks to Dr. Agni and
He taught us all that.
yeah, he taught us those words. I remember there was a scene where I was doing a surgery and कैसे बोलना है, जल्दी किस में होना चाहिए, स्लो किस में होना चाहिए, किस चीज़ में आप रिलैक्स होके बोल सकते हो, किस चीज़ में when there's something serious happening, उस वक्त आप कैसे रिएक्ट करोगे. So you've not been in a theatre and अगर आप हो, like मेरी शोल्डर सर्जरी हुई थी तो मैं तो एनेस्थीसिया लेके गायब था, मतलब I was बेहोश. So I've not seen them operating what they actually speak and what they do. But I've heard from my doctor friends that the atmosphere in the theatre a lot of times are very chilled. एक हमें लगता है अंदर सर्जरी होती है, वो लोग म्यूजिक लगाकर चिल करके सुन रहे होते हैं और आराम से अपनी सर्जरी कर रहे होते हैं. Different people have different way of doing things. For me, the most difficult part is to do a show. Once I do, then I'm in.
वैसा एक कई सारी पुरानी हिंदी फिल्मों में होता था ना ऐसा कि डॉक्टर सर्जरी कर रहे हैं, एक तो कोई हाइजीन नहीं होता था, फिर डॉक्टर के यहाँ से एक शॉट में यहाँ से पसीना गिर रहा है, धीरे यहाँ गिर रहा है, यहाँ गिर रहा है, स्ट्रेस ऐसा नहीं होता है. एसी तो बहुत ठंडा होता है उधर, पसीना नहीं आता डॉक्टर को. कभी कभी आता है जब बहुत चीर-फाड़ के लाइक इन पर्टिकुलर वेरी मस्कुलिन सर्जरीज बहुत ताकत लगती है. लेकिन आई हैव सीन माइन व्हेन दे ऑपरेट अ नी सर्जरी,
अच्छा नी सर्जरी
वो तो उखाड़ फिकड़ मतलब ठोका ठाकी चल रही होती है उधर. मतलब दे हैमर एंड ऑल दैट दे यूज. नहीं वो दिखता है ना आपको, सीडी देते हैं ना बाद में क्या कर रहे हो आप.
नहीं भाई क्या देखो मेरा शो,
आपको भी ऑनलाइन जाके देखो सर्जरी, वो नी सर्जरी में उखाड़ ठोका ठाकी चल रही है हैमर से. ये मेरे पैर पे हुआ है. मतलब
Have you noticed something about doctors in Hindi movies? There are only 3 scenes we've grown up watching of all doctors in Hindi movies.
माफ कीजिए हम बचा नहीं.
अभी आपको दवा की नहीं दुआ की जरूरत है. सीन it's one template.
I'm sorry.
The other template is आपको इतने पैसे लाने वरना इनकी जान जा सकती है.
That's true.
So then the hero is set on a quest and
बधाई हो आपको जुड़वा हुआ है.
बधाई हो आपको जुड़वा हुआ है, बेटी हुई है, लड़का हुआ.
And then
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
So these were the 4 scenes every doctor had in all the Hindi movies.
Yeah.
And he's always the polite person who comes with, you know, a nice clean cloak. And
Correct.
यहाँ से बिल्कुल नहीं है लोग.
But that is changed in this show.
Especially in TV serials, if you see ना, like नहीं बचा पाए पति को, and then she goes and then she does something.
हाँ, वो
some
मंदिर में
magic
जाती
and-
फिर
Yeah,
हम
she
हम
magic
वो
does
चीज
it.
नहीं बचा पाए, हम कुछ और किया हमने.
हमने वो क्लीशे बचा लिया है. हमने नहीं रखा है बिल्कुल भी.
Yes, so the doctors have always been bearer of very bad news.
Messengers
Or
of
good.
doom.
Yeah, unless there is a baby boy or a girl.
They just become announcers. That's nothing
Announcers,
else.
yeah. नहीं कर पाए.
Yeah.
वो इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं चले गया मतलब इतना कुछ और बाकी प्रोसेस नहीं
Or
होता.
there's one more other 5th scene. आप लोग यहाँ कितना पेशेंट को डिस्टर्ब कर रहे हो, आप प्लीज बाहर जाइए. नर्स भी कभी कभी बोल
नर्स
देता
नहीं
है, देखो
है.
एक
चलिए हटी हटी आप लोग जाइए, पेशेंट को परेशान मत कीजिए. नर्स का स्टेटमेंट होता है.
But lovely.
आप थोड़ा वेट कीजिए, डॉक्टर आते ही होंगे. तो यही सीखा था हमने भी.
And my sister is a doctor.
Oh my God.
Like, God bless
आप
me.
बिल्कुल नहीं
So please tell her to watch this show and she
please.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah. But lovely chatting with all of you. Thank you so much for having time and all the very best. Before I let you go, what are your upcoming projects you're focusing on after
अरे बाप
Doctors?
रे, tough question. I think most of the projects are with Vivaan.
Yeah, very good. Tell them about the 18 films.
जब
you're doing.
पतला हुआ अब वेट पुट ऑन कर रहा है.
There's a couple. There's been a productive year, touchwood, and by God's grace, so a lot of interesting stuff.
So list videos.
It's not been announced, so I can't really.
Tell them the one where you're playing the porn star.
I'm reading the scripts.
Oh, you can't talk about it. Sorry,
पहले
sorry,
बोलते
we can't
थे,
talk
Porn star
about
नहीं
it.
play कर रहा हूँ मैं.
क्या play कर रहा है?
No, no, you didn't hear that. You heard
I would
it
have loved to
first
talk
on
about it, but it's
ये
not
role
been
में
mentioned
free में
about in the
करता.
media. That's why, you know, I don't know if I should.
ये रोल में फ्री में करता.
Huh?
ये वाला.
That's
फ्री में.
such large-heartedness.
No, large. Yeah.
ये अपना लगे
Hearted,
रहेंगे.
hearted,
Yeah. Okay, say something.
Say something.
Okay, one which I think is already coming is with Mr. Sudhir Mishra ji. There's a lovely show about the 1970s, about the student protests of that time. So that is happening. Then there's another war film, and then there's one. There's another film which I had done, which is about communal harmony. That should also release hopefully. So a couple of things in the pipeline, waiting for the eggs to hatch, as they say.
मैं बोलूँ हम सबके लिए क्या कर रहे हैं हम लोग?
Yeah.
हम लोग ना स्क्रिप्ट पढ़ रहे हैं. We have lot of offers.
Very smart.
याद है लाइन ये पुराना लाइन होता था.
Yeah,
कुछ
yeah.
काम नहीं है.
अभी भी
कुछ
हाँ,
काम नहीं
कुछ
है.
काम
कोई
नहीं है.
स्क्रिप्ट नहीं आ रहे.
Suddenly.
We are reading the scripts and deciding what next to do. ऐसे नहीं, इन लोगों के पास बहुत काम है. मैं अपनी बात कर रहा हूँ.
बंगला बना रहा है ये.
What about you, Sharad, and like of course all of you?
My one was recently released Ranti in Marathi. Now Doctors is coming.
अरे रांटी ना.
Then there's a film of Geo Studios only. It's coming in January called Skyforce. Then working on few. I finished one film now. Working on a series right now. So
Viraf.
I have 3 major projects happening. First biggest project of my life has been the production with my wife. That's my baby girl. And that takes most of my attention, time. That's the biggest. Apart from that, this year I have written a screenplay which has gone into production, and I'm acting in it as well. It's a Gujarati film. Looking forward to that. third is writing something else as well. So yeah, there's stuff like this happening, and I have to big project that we have to look at is getting this whole cast together and watch this show together, at least one episode together.
Yeah,
at some point.
we'll do that.
That's for all of us. We got to make
Yeah,
that happen. Yeah. We actors always say love wanting to do that, but hota nahi hai.
होता नहीं ना,
So,
करते नहीं.
सब busy होते हैं ना विवान जी.
Yeah. Harleen,
You're upcoming.
Yeah,
Upcoming.
upcoming. Yeah, you want to know.
I mean,
projects.
right now I'm obviously very, very excited about Doctors. To be honest, it's a show that I'm really in love with, and I feel very privileged that we got to do this. Because I was telling them I watched the show. I finished watching the show last night, and I've just been so overwhelmed with it because I really think it's such a great, wholesome show, full of human emotion, full of seeing another other professionals work the way they work their life. So I'm just very excited about Doctors. That's coming out on 27th December.
ये डॉक्टर्स की बात बहुत कर रही है. ओ
देख लिया ना उसका सारा episode.
उसी का प्रमोशन.
And you, Aamir? जैसे आपने कहा वैसे ही
बहुत स्क्रिप्ट्स पढ़ रहा हूँ मैं.
पढ़ रहे हो.
बहुत scripts पढ़ रहे हैं.
Yeah, डिसाइड करूँगा कौन सा काम करना है.
But lovely chatting with all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
And
much.
all the very best. Looking
Thank you.
forward to this one, and of course to Doctors. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.